Hello everybody and welcome to another video. I wanted to do a quick video on Frostpunk, which is a game right now that is actually free on the Epic launcher. And again, I'm not sponsored or anything here. This is just a game that I really love and really enjoy playing, and I wanted you guys to be aware of it so you can go and grab it for free. It will go away, I believe, on June 10th. But all you have to do is head to the Epic launcher, click it, download it, and once you download it, it's yours, and it will stay yours forever. And I highly recommend this game because of how unique it is. I've played this game multiple times. I've done all the DLC. I've loved them. They've been amazing. If you haven't seen those videos, they are around here on YouTube. You can check them out. But let's go ahead and show you guys what this game is all about, just so you can decide if you want to pick it up. And again, I highly recommend it. So I'm going to skip this cutscene here. You can watch it on your own. But the entire premise of this game is that the world is ending. Everything is freezing, and humanity has decided that the best course of action is to build cities that are built around generators that provide heat and power. And what you need to be doing is trying to get through these scenarios and build up a city area that allows people to survive. And you'll run into a lot of problems, and I want to stress this because it is very, very important. You will fail. There will be mistakes, you will screw up, you will have to try a few more times, you will have scenarios where you will not do right by everybody. The best course of action is trying to survive, or to save humanity and not be the nicest person ever, which can be a little hard for some people, but for me, I love making those big decisions, and this game really nails that entire aspect. So here we go, a new home. We have fled from London and crossed the sea to reach the frozen north. On our way to the convoy, it was hit by a blizzard and scattered. A handful of us managed to reach the side of the generator, only to find it frozen solid and abandoned. Why is no one here? Did any of our people survive the blizzard? And are there others out there? So essentially, a team was sent to build the generator, and they were supposed to be living and thriving, and we were supposed to meet them there after London was starting to freeze over, and it just didn't happen. So you show up to this area, a beat down generator covered in snow, and you have to try and just survive and figure out what your next steps are. And this is a game. We need to get the generator working. It provides heat and power of other buildings. Without it, we'll freeze to death, stockpile some coal, and start the generator. So first thing to point out is you'll have a lot of information, and the game will teach you as you go. Up here, I believe tips will pop up while you're playing, but essentially you want to keep an eye on this bar down here and these bars down here. You have your hope and your discontent. You want to try and keep the people stable. You won't keep them happy all the time. If you play it perfectly, you might be able to, but I don't know many people that have played it perfectly. And you'll have to manage these resources. You have coal, you have wood, you have steel, you have steam cores, which you'll learn more about that later on, probably a good like 20 to 30 minutes into a game. You got food, which is raw food, and then you need to turn it into cooked food. So I'll show you my first 15 minutes of gameplay, and then kind of run a little bit of the game so you can get an idea of how it works, but I'm not going to do a full session, just so you know. Okay, so first things first, what I want to be doing here is I want to make sure that the people that I have here, all 40 of them, as you can see, or 80 of them that are homeless, I want to make sure that they have houses to work in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start building up a decent amount. We also need to manage every person that is working. So what I'll be doing here is getting all my people working on these piles. So you have wood crates, steel wreckage, supplies to pick up. I'm going to do wood because wood's really important in the early game. I'll have one person set up over here on top of the steel wreckage to get a little bit of steel going. Actually, we'll bring that down to 5 because steel is more of like a mid-game thing. And I should have some coal. Okay, so we'll get some coal running there, and then we have some engineers. Engineers are your smart dudes. They're good for research and whatnot, so you want to take care of them. So what I'm going to do is actually remove all my workers here and put these out here, and then put my engineers here so they don't have to travel as far in the cold. And then we'll go ahead and start the game here. So whenever you hit play, you have a nice small duration you can go at a nice slow speed if you would like. You can speed it up by hitting the plus sign up here, which you can do and go as fast as possible. I generally run the game at normal speed in the early game, and then I mix into fast game speed later on when I need resources. Now, one thing that you'll have to focus on while you're playing this game is these little pop-ups happen. And these usually will give you scenarios or information about your tribe or city that you're building for you to make decisions. So we'll go ahead and click it here. There's so much to do and not enough hands to do it. A quick way of addressing this problem is to put our children to work. So, right away out the gate, you are tasked with an important decision. You can open the Book of Laws, which you'll see down here in the bottom right, and it gives you a ton of things that you can do. You can sign laws that can force you down different play styles. You can either go for child labor, which allows for kids to work, so they'll give you more hands on deck so you can do more work. Or you can do the other side, which is child shelters. Children will be safer if they stay in child shelters during the day, and they won't cause any mischief. What's great about this is if you build a child shelter, you can start putting them into engineers later on, which can be medic engineers or workshop engineers, but engineers build important things, so those children will grow up and become important adults. But if you want, you can just employ all the child labor you want. So we'll do that here. We'll sign child labor. Hope will fall slightly, and child workers can be injured in accidents. So unfortunate, but hey, I need all hands on deck. You can decide that if you want to. And again, it kind of takes that weird idea of what is morally right and allows for you to play around with it in order to allow humanity to survive. So sometimes you make bad decisions, but you're able to move forward in an additional 30 to 40 days. And I love that concept of like, you know what, this sucks ass, but I have to do this play in order for us to survive. And that stuff is really cool. So immediately, you can look down here in the bottom right. I have 15 unemployed children, and I'm gonna have the children go all the way across the map here, because why not? We're not gonna play this all the way through. And what I love about this game is how fucking beautiful it is. Like, look at them working, people running around slowly but surely trying to grab all these resources for us. Okay, so now that I have people working, let's go ahead and speed up just a little bit here so I can show you a little bit more of the game. At night is when they usually do most of their jobs, so you'll go throughout all that. There are some other things that you need to be aware of. If you need to figure out the temperature of your base, because temperature will play a big part of the game, you can click this, and this shows you what the entire temperature is of the area. So you see some heat coming from these, and when I get the generator running, you'll see some heat covering areas where I want to build. Speaking of that, I'll be building some more houses around here, just to make sure everyone's nice and employed. And the next thing I'm going to do is build some research areas. So we're going to go ahead and go for, how do I do this? Mail scroll. Here we go. Click that in, and that'll get a workshop plugged in there. Let's go ahead and fit this in. I will say you want to try and have your space as well done as possible. So try and figure that out, because you will run out of space in the late game. And we're going to go ahead and have these hug directly onto there. Now, for most buildings, I will need roads plugged in. There is a center road right here in the middle of the generator, so all these houses are touching a road, but you can see with this icon above, they are not touching roads, so I need to get that done. So generally what I do is I run to the side and then just do a nice little tip all the way to about there, but we need a little bit more wood. So we'll go ahead and play it forward. There we go. And then we'll bring this road to right about there. And as long as it's touching and the road gets built up, we'll be fine. Alright, so down here is your major goals that need to be done right away. So you see the goal, fight the cold, stockpile some coal, and turn the generator on. So you see my coal going up to 200. We'll get those running soon. And at night, when everyone comes back from the jobs, they'll finish up their jobs and build up everything they can. First question mark, the heating is off. The generator is off. People are afraid they'll freeze to death in their sleep if you don't at least turn it on for them at night. And I say, of course. We're gonna go ahead and turn on the generator, just so you can show you guys what needs to be done. So we click this, and then the generator turns online. And immediately heat comes out and starts to warm everybody up. If you click this, you can see that heat, and it still has a nice layer around it, which I'm building into. You see more heat coming from these guys as well. Okay. So now that these are built up, I'm going to remove my engineers that I had over here. I need... oh, we should build one more workshop. I like to get research going right away. Other people will disagree. They'll do their own play styles. It's whatever. For me, I love getting my engineers in the research ASAP. So we're going to remove all these here. Max that out, hit play. This should get built up before the end of the night, and I can fill them up there too. There we go. So now that I have all three people, or all three workshops running, and I'll get a fourth here later going, I can go into my technology tree, and this is where you're going to be opening up a lot of your game plan. For me, heat is important, but I kind of do it on a need to fix basis. I care about resources, food, and health and shelter, and then exploration as well. So you know what? Let's go ahead and research faster gathering, and then I'll try and get scouting set up so I can show you that before we end. Again, this video will be about 20-30 minutes long, nothing too crazy. So we'll go through the night phase here. Generator will keep them nice and warm, and keep an eye on your cooldowns. Like down here, you can see my research already in the midst of being worked on. Here on the bottom right, Book of Laws. I can sign other laws here, and there are things that can kind of make people a little bit more happy, a little bit more upset. Like once you have people dying, you'll want to start moving into cemeteries or corpse disposal to make sure that there's not dead bodies laying around. Little tip: you can actually leave dead bodies around and not allow people to eat by not having enough food, and you can actually go into cannibalism in this game if you need to have them survive. You can literally eat the dead. It'll make people pissed off, but if you gotta eat the dead, you gotta eat the dead. A lot of morbid decisions like that will pop up, and a lot of different play styles. This game's tree is great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here to soup. We can cook soup instead of full meals to feed more people with the same amount of raw food. New recipe: soup. Hope will fall slightly, discontent will fall slightly, eating soup will cause discontent. So what this does is it takes my meals, and I believe... Actually, let's go ahead and get it fully checked out before I sign that law. Let's go ahead and sign that law real quick, and I'll show you what that does. So soup has been signed, just so I don't waste a cooldown. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and get food taken care of on our next day. So let's go ahead and build this way. This is a little Akko Taco, because my workplaces are set up like this. Screw it. We'll just plug them in right here for now. So I usually do like one hub over here and then one over here, because you're gonna have to heat this side later on with these things. Oh, I can't show them off yet. Where are they at? I think they're in research. Yes, steam hubs. So steam hubs are like little circular areas that connects to the generator that burns coal, which will provide heat in a general area. So what I usually do is build like houses around here, build one on the right, one on the left, and then fill in the holes as I go. So something to consider whenever you're playing. So let's go ahead and do a cookhouse right there. And then we will also do a hunter's hut, I believe, right next to it as well. So let's get our road built in, bring that in, bring that around. And then when we get to work in the morning, I'll go ahead and make sure we can build the stuff to make sure food is ready for us, because we have that raw food. We need it cooked ASAP. Okay, let's go through the night. See the coal being burned here. People going back to work. And what we need to do here is get someone working. So right away, I'm gonna pull somebody off of a pile. We'll bring that down because we don't have people on that. Bring this to one person working here. So what they do right now is for, I believe, every 8 hours, they do 4 food rations from 2 raw food. But if I turn it into soup, it goes from 2 raw food to 5. So that'll give me some good food during the day to feed all my people. All right. Already you can see something happening here. People are getting sick, which means I should build into a medical post. So we'll go ahead and feed that into right about here. Bring the road around just slightly. And then we'll get an engineer on top of that. Ooh, a couple pop-ups. A child got distracted at work and has been injured. The accident was not serious and happened entirely due to the child's carelessness. So we have a couple of options. I can give the child the day off, which will rise hope up a little bit, or I can scold the kid for being careless. Now, these decisions do have ramifications later on. If I give the kid a day off, other kids might take the day off later on, or parents would be like, hey, you were lenient on the kids, blah, 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 and then someone fucking dies, right? Like, that can happen. So I'm gonna scold this kid and hope will fall slightly, but overall, I shouldn't have to deal with other injuries later on. In theory, there are some RNG baked in and whatnot, but these are decisions that you have to make. So we'll scold the kid, say, you need to be careful, kiddo. Sir, a woman came forward after we built the workshop. She said that her husband and daughter didn't reach the city with the main group, but she's sure they'll still be out there. She wants to join the first scout team we'll send out. She urges you to hurry. All right, we'll do what we can. So, we want to start scouting and looking for people in the future if we can. Which, perfect timing. Our first research is done. Faster gathering. Let's go and hover it over so I can tell you guys what it does. Employing better tools and methods, people gathering resources from coal piles, wood crates, and steel erectors will work 50% faster, whether using gathering posts or not. So I get resources faster, which is pretty decent research. What we're going to do is start working on the beacon here. I usually grab this like 3 or 4 researches in, but since we're showing off what you can do in this game, let's go ahead and get that done. And we'll go ahead and fast forward through all this. So our food is getting cooked. And now that I see my food is starting to get a little bit low, I'm gonna go ahead and go for a hunter's hut, which actually doesn't really matter if I remember correctly when it comes to temperature. Some buildings need temperature, some don't. I believe if you click them, you can kind of keep an eye on them. You can see the temperature if they're livable and whatnot. I do believe a hunter's hut is not important for temperature, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and just build it a little bit out here, and then we'll build a road to it. But it can give an idea of like how you want to build things in the future, right? Let's bring that into right about there, I think. I don't want to cut off those trees, because those trees I need to mine later on. Let's go ahead and bring the road all the way across, if I can. Perfect. Cool. So that'll get built up at night. The generator hums with reassuring warmth, but we shouldn't take it for granted. If the generator goes down, the city dies. Be mindful of coal reserves, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, food. There'll be no city if we starve to death. Secure a way to provide raw food, so we'll be doing that next. And they'll build them up. You'll want to keep an eye on this corner down here. Once they finish mining things, you'll have to put them on other piles. So, our beacon research has been finished up. Let's go ahead and look into our next resources. Let's go ahead and get... We'll do hunter's gear. Thanks to better snowshoes and enhanced camouflage, hunters setting out from the hunter's hut will return with more raw food from each hunt. Up to 20 raw food per hunt. We'll go ahead and research that next. And then we want to get people back to mining if we can. Locations that are not filled out. So we have some steel here we can grab. We have some more wood crates that we can grab. We'll put the children on that. And we'll go through the day. Now, whenever you get a new piece of technology research, it will be available down here in the bottom left and it will be highlighted blue. So we now have a beacon that we can build. And we have the resources to do it. 20 wood and 35 steel. We're going to go ahead and build the beacon out here. We'll build it out here, right? Next to this road. Out in the outskirts. Okay. And then we'll bring that road a little bit deeper down. Great. Alright, so our little city's starting to run. Things are getting done. We're kind of surviving. Now, up here in the top right is where you have to keep an eye on. You see it's day 2 here? Oh, hang on. People from our convoy. With basic resources secured for now, we can try to rescue people we left behind. Build a beacon, scout Frostland, and serve as many survivors from our expedition as possible. You'll need a workshop design plan for more advanced buildings. Okay. So let me pause real quick. Up here in the top right corner, it says day 2. You can see day 3, day 4, day 5. You see these little icon things here? Here's a little blue one. It's very small, but you can see it and it's pointing down. Temperature is going to go down during that phase. So you need to make sure that you have heat available for the people that are going to be working. And then the temperature comes back up. So usually you have about a day and a half where you have to deal with cold temperatures. So keep an eye on that. You'll have ways to deal with them as you head throughout the game, but something important. Okay, so we have another decision to make. Radical treatment. We'll try everything to cure the gravely ill, from invasive surgery to amputations. You can amputate people that are sick and it will make them well, but they will be unable to work until you can get to prosthetics later on, which is down the tech tree. Or you can go for sustained life. You can't cure them, but we can at least keep them alive. We won't risk dangerous amputations with radical treatment. So while they can't cure the gravely ill, they'll kind of just sit there in your med bays and kind of soak up food. And later on, you can find ways to fix them. It's just a decision that you have to make here in the early game. I usually go with the radical treatment and then get prosthetic arms later on. One thing you can do too in the early game to keep hope up is get a fighting arena up, and that builds into like a public house and a brothel and stuff like that later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign this. And it gives me a task down here to build a fighting arena, which I need to do over 3 days. So no major rush, but we'll make sure we get that done as soon as we can later on. Alright, so now that we have some people that are sick, I'm going to remove one engineer from this facility and plug them there, because engineers work in the med bays. And that'll help keep people nice and healed up. We're no longer lost and blind. From now on, our people will be able to survey the ice barriers that surround us, Frostland. Okay. So, this is our first building being done, and this will allow for us to scout these surrounding areas for supplies, people surviving, things like that. Go ahead and watch this beautiful animation. I just love how gorgeous this game is. Like, they seriously have done a wonderful job with it. And there we go. So, this will open up the rest of the map for me, and you have a couple of places you can go to right away. You have things that are highlighted with a yellow. That's kind of an important task that usually are time sensitive. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and build our first scouting team, which requires 5 workers and 40 wood. So we'll get that running in the morning. For now, how are we looking on steel? We're gonna move our steel here because we got 40. We're gonna plug 4 people into here so they're hunting during the day. And then we'll go and continue. So we gotta keep the food going. People cheer as a giant observation balloon soars above the city. This is real feat. Everyone feels proud of the work they've done to make it happen. Volunteers have lined up, eager to go looking for our lost people in Frostland. The woman who came forward earlier is among them. We needed a win. Great. So hope goes up a little bit there. So far, my city is looking pretty happy. We need to get our wood up, so I'm gonna wait for some wood to be mined, but we are good to go for our next day. Fast forwarding. And morning is about to hit. Ooh, something popped up. A protective mother. A mother refused to let her daughter go to work, afraid she'll get injured. We could look the other way this time, but others might see it as unfair. So we can be nice and let the kid have a day off. Hope will rise slightly, and then we won't make an exception, nothing will change. Right now, it's in the early game, and I don't have to stress out my individuals too much, so I'm gonna go with let her have a day off. Gotta be nice occasionally, right? Alright, so the day begins, and we get people to work. I'm waiting for about 40 wood to connect, and then I'm gonna figure out where I want to move my workers as needed. Remember, that cold day is coming soon. Alright, so we have children working there, and we have 5 workers here. Let's go ahead and bring this down to 10 on the steel wreckage. And then we're going to go ahead and make our first group of explorers. So, what you can do if you're trying to figure out how to use this menu is you can click this right here where it says waiting. It'll take you to this, or you can click this in the top right. That'll take you to home. This will take you to outside the city. What you do is you click on locations you want to go to, and then you click the guy waiting and hit go. And he'll start exploring. He'll have a time limit that'll take him to get there, but once he gets there, you have to answer a question or two. So, our research is finished up. We do know the cold is coming soon. First thing I want to do is research heaters. Heaters allow us to use heaters to heat workplaces during working hours, but each heater raises a workplace temperature by 1 level and consumes 1 coal per an hour when running. Good to know. So, we're getting to a point where we're going to have to start working on our coal and making sure that we have enough coming in. So we'll start focusing on that after our heaters finish up. But I want to make sure that for the first night, we don't have any injuries if possible. We do have 15 people not working at the moment. So let's go ahead and make sure our coal piles are being mined. Here's some out there just to make sure everyone's good to go. We'll hit play. Coal pile has been depleted, which means I have more workers available to me. Let's go ahead and grab another pile, max that out, and I have children available. Let's put them there. All right, to work we go. Heaters have been researched. Use heaters to work during work hours. So, when we get into a cold facility, when we click this and we see things being blue, I can click these little heaters and these icons, and they'll automatically turn on and start burning coal. For now, we'll keep them off, but that is something to be aware about. Like this place is functioning and comfortable, but I'm pretty sure we don't need to have heat there. I can turn that off, I think, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Could be wrong. Cool. So technology is done on heaters. I'm gonna go ahead and start researching a coal thumper, which will help me find more coal. By pumping pressurized water into underground coal deposits, the coal thumper washes the precious resource to the source, forming a pile of up to 560 coal per standard workday, enough for 2 gathering posts. So we'll get that researched, and we're gonna need to figure out where we want to build that. I'm gonna build a couple of gathering resources. Probably, let's see, how does my area look? I got wood there, so we'll have to mine that wood. I think I'm gonna do is do a gathering resource here, and a gathering resource there, and then we're gonna build a road all the way across. So what these do is when people are in them, they gather all the resources in the vicinity. Ooh, it looks like we have a scout done. Hang on, I'll come back to that. Let's go and explore. So let's usually give you a story blip. A happy reunion. We entered the camp, appearing out of the driving snow. A choir of excited voices welcome us. Thank God you found us. We had been wandering for days until we couldn't go any longer. Soon we began to starve. Children and adults surround us, packed and ready to go. So you have a couple of options. You can escort the survivors to the city, which has a better chance of them showing up and having no deaths, or you can send them by yourself. I'm close enough. I'm gonna go ahead and send them, and the temperature hasn't gotten too cold yet that it should be a-okay, because I want to start exploring this map as soon as possible. So I send the survivors, but that little exclamation mark to the far right, you see how it's not there? This is letting you know that there is a possibility that it couldn't work out. So we're gonna go ahead and do it, and we'll take the risk. So now that this guy is done, I need to send him to a different location if possible. I'm gonna send him to the observatory to start exploring. So we know that 22 people, 10 engineers, and 4 children are on their way, and we might want to make sure that we have the space for them or places for them to work. So we're going to plan for that. Okay, all those are nice and done. We'll keep it going here. Want to make sure that we have enough coal available. Day 4, the temperature goes down to negative 40 degrees Celsius. So if we click this, we can see things are starting to be a little bit on the cold side. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the heat on places that we know people are working. I don't have anyone here, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna turn on the heat here as well, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can keep them nice and toasty. All right, time to go to work. We'll keep an eye on the sick and make sure that number doesn't go up too much. In the wake of a recent child workers accident, the parents argue that we could be giving working children double rations to make them stronger and help prevent injuries. Oof! That's a rough one. Working children will eat double rations, hope will rise. Nothing will change. For now, I'm gonna be nice to the children, but we're gonna have to make sure that we're able to get the food coming in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start another shop. Hunter's hut, probably like right here-ish. So we can make sure that we can have people hunting food. Adaptation. So we are going to unlock emergency shifts. Sometimes we have to concentrate on the task at hand at the cost of everything else. After doing this law, another can be passed for after 10 or 18 hours. New ability. You can force workers in any facility to work for the next 24 hours. Sometimes you need people to work hard, and I like to get this done earlier and then go straight into extended shift. All right. So discontent's going up a little bit. Hope is up a little bit, but we haven't lost him yet. All right, coal thumper. We're gonna plug this coal thumper in right here. Cool. Build that up. That'll go up tonight. Mild frostbite. A citizen has become gravely ill. One of our people have become gravely ill due to frostbite. This will keep happening if people have to work in such cold. We must do something. So, we have to stay in life here or radical treatment. I might go into radical treatment, but we have to make sure we sign that when that becomes available. Looking into my heat right now, it does look like things are a little cold for people. So my next research is going to be Steam Hub. We'll start getting that built up now that we have coal coming in, and we should be able to afford it. Let's go and explore here. Instead of astronomers, we are met by some of our lost people. They explained that they came here for help but found everybody dead. The astronomers continued their observations until they starved. What was so important for them? They wrote it up in their diaries. The loss of sunlight can't be explained solely by the fouling of the atmosphere by the southern volcanoes. The sun is dimming. So, I can escort them, send them, or lead survivors to their fate. I'm going to go ahead and send them to my location. Again, I think they should be alright. As long as half of them make it, I'm pretty happy. I want to keep exploring this map right now before things get a little too rough. Okay, so we have 2 teams of people coming in eventually, which I'm hoping that we'll be able to manage. We'll go ahead and max this out. And then we have 10 more here. So people are getting done right now with their tasks. So I have to make sure that I delegate as necessary. So these are our survivors showing up, bringing in a lot of people, and hopefully we can keep them working. It's heartwarming to see families reunited after so many hardships, but shouldn't there be other settlements nearby? The first expedition left London long ago. They ought to be well established by now. They'll surely help us find our footing. So these people are really attached to London. Search for others. Our people found a trail leading to the wilderness. We should follow it. We must find other people and ask them for the help to secure our survival. Okay, so now that I got people here, let's go ahead and start maxing out all these other locations and making sure that we are feeding people as necessary. Let's go and turn the heat on because that did look a little bit cold, didn't it? And then we're working on the steam vent right now. Let's go ahead and put 2 people in here, although it looks like our raw food's getting done pretty well. That's filled up now. Let's go ahead and fill this up with workers if we can. We have some more workers coming soon. I think what I'll do is I'll bring this down to 5. I really want to make sure that we're good on food. Okay. So we'll see how that goes for now, as they'll be working in the next day. And then we got more people coming in, which is just children, huh? Well then, I say we put the children in here. Great. And then we'll have the rest of the children grab the steel. Go ahead, get out there, children. Engineer now, we'll go and turn the seat on. Turn that on for now, keep the heat going for everybody. And then we'll have to also get them housing. Each tent takes up to, I believe 10 people? Yes, it's 10 people. So we'll go ahead and just shove them on in there. Oh, we're getting low on wood, aren't we? That'll be our next research. We're getting short on resources. Our needs are great and growing by the hour. To address this, we can enact a law that will allow us to extend working hours. Open the book of laws. I see it. What I need to do now is do sustain life. Let's go ahead and go with amputees for now. Cut off their arms if you have to. It is what it is. Okay. So that gets people a little upset. Our hope is getting low, but we're working on it. I will say that most of the time, you will have a rough time before you have a good time in this game. Sometimes you're just gonna get bodied. It is what it is. Okay, so now we got a steam hub, and as you can see, it has to be built on a road, but it gives off a decent amount of heating. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it like right about here. Yeah, we'll put it like right about there. That should hit about everybody. And then I'm gonna have to build another one up here in this area, which I think I'm gonna go a little bit deeper for. But as a reminder, these will be very important, but you also have to make sure that you have the coal available to build up there. To unlock the next area of a tree, by the way, you need to click this and pay the cost of it. For here, it's a total of 50 wood. And I need wood here, so I'm gonna go ahead and research the saw wood here. Which I'm hoping we have all the resources we need for that. Are there any more trees anywhere? Wait, am I fucked? Did I not manage my trees that well? Ooh, I don't think we did, chat. Oh dear. Let's see here. I think I can take something apart, and that'll give me enough wood. What do I take apart here? I guess a workshop, yeah? Let's go ahead and deconstruct this, and that'll give me some wood, so I can get this figured out. Alright, deconstruct that. There we go. Let's do this. We'll get a sawmill built up so I can mine as needed. And then we're actually getting a little bit full on coal. So I'm gonna bring some workers in here. We'll do 5 here. You see it being maxed out. And you can fix that, by the way, by going into resources and getting a resource depot, which will allow for you to increase your capacity. But for now, I'm so stressed on resources, I'll just manage my workers better if I can. Let's go ahead and keep 2 workers in there. That's fine. That's fine. Sawmill will be coming out soon. I think I need to not spend wood if possible. Uh-oh. And people start dying. Open the book of laws. So I'll have to get a cemetery built up to make sure that people don't have dead bodies laying everywhere. And you can see, like, how it starts to become a problem. You're putting out fires constantly. Explore. The trail leads to another city. And this is why I start scouting so early in my games. The shelter is comfortable and well equipped with emergency supplies. There's a notice posted by the heavy round door to all scientists. If you use any supplies, remember to notify the quartermaster upon your return to the city. This means there's another city out there. A signpost with the trail points in 2 directions, London and home, 27 miles. So we found a steel bridge with 98 food, a steam core, and 246 wood. We need these. We take these resources and we immediately bring our guy straight to our city. And he'll bring back these supplies so I can use those. Now, as we continue our research and waiting for this wood to come in, I'm gonna go ahead and remove people on this coal, I think, as well. And just put them on steel for now. We need to find places for people to work. Let's go ahead and fill this up on engineers. More engineers are coming in because we're getting more people showing up. Let's do a med bay, which, again, we have to wait for our wood to come in. So we're gonna go ahead and play this slowly. Stop mining coal because we have enough coal coming in here. And now we have more people coming in. Survivors reach the city. And I'm just waiting for the shipment of wood so I can build them houses, because people are going to die on me! Captain, some of our people are concerned about the rising number of untreated sick. They're asking you to address the problem. I will open you a medical post. So I have to wait 3 days before I can do that. Next, we have our fighting arena, which I have not built yet, and I will not be able to build. So you can see how it's going down to the red. I have 3 hours to build that thing, or people will be upset at me. The wisdom of the crowd. Captain, when facing demands, remember this. People usually look up the quickest solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree to everything they ask for. If you fix problems your way, it's fine. Thank you. Alright, so I got people coming in, but I really have to wait for these supplies, and I think I'm gonna lose out in this fighting arena. Yep, hope falls, discontent falls. So you can see what happens when you promise things to people and you don't deliver. Totally did that so I can show it to you guys. Not because I misplanned. Totally. That's totally what happened. Cemetery! We will sign the cemetery in. The cemetery will be established so we can bury the dead properly. Alright, great. So now you can see a cemetery here for 10 wood. And again, I'm waiting for my research to finish up. Let's go ahead and make this 24 hours so that gets done ASAP. Just showing you what you guys can do. So discontent rises heavily. And now my dude is here with food and wood. So immediately I will do a cemetery out here. A cemetery doesn't care about the cold, by the way. All the dead people are gonna die anyways. You just throw them out here, let them bury them. You can also build that fighting arena that I didn't do earlier, so I'll do it now. And that will make people get happy when that finishes up. And then I need to build more housing. So let's go ahead and do 3, 4, 5. We'll build that all the way around. And you'll notice when I start building here and we're expanding, my generator is only reaching to 1 level of heat. I'm gonna have to expand that somehow. You can do it through these, or, and when this research finishes up, let's turn this off at 24 hours now. We don't need any more. You can go to your generators and start upgrading the next phase now that we have wood. And when that gets finished up, I can do things like a generator power upgrade or generator range upgrade, and this makes your generator stronger and will allow for you to continue building your city and expanding. So you gotta consider all that stuff. All right, so since he delivered all of his content, I'm gonna send him to the steel bridge for now. And he will find more things for us later on. Resources, sawmill. The sawmill you can see in these green areas, these are things that I can mine. And I want it to be near my gathering post so people are grabbing that stuff as needed. If you want to, you can build on top of the green, but it will destroy the resource. So I usually just move it a little bit further to the left. And this stuff will disappear after it gets mined. And you can deconstruct things, so you don't have to worry about spacing too much in the early game. All right, let's make sure that's nice and filled out on the road. There it is. Why is that not building? Let's go ahead and get that built up and see what happens. So our cemetery is getting built. Houses are finally getting built. People are getting fed slowly but surely. Life is looking better for us. Now, I do have to find some jobs because I have 40 people right now that aren't doing anything. Oh, great. Temperature's going down. Wonderful. So what we can do is turn these all off. We might want to leave that on, actually. But we can make sure all the heaters are turned off now. Play that out. And we do have that medical post that we were promised down here in the bottom left. So let's go ahead and get another medical post up so everyone can stay nice and healthy. And then we can find other jobs. Like we can start moving into another coal thumper if we feel like we need more coal, but our coal looks good. Our sawmill will help out this wood over here. Many things you can build into if you need to. We can start hunting for more food, which might be something we want to do, because food is always going to be a problem, and you can ration it if you want to as well. So we're going to build a third cooking or hunting facility, just so we can keep those people busy for now. Let's go ahead and fill that out on engineers. And as I said earlier, I really enjoy research in this game, so I will overbuild on workshops. Let's bring that all the way around. Fill that up. Wait for these to get built. There we go. Max that out. And hopefully we're keeping people nice and happy. Wood mill, we'll put some engineers in here. Engineers, technically, I want to use for the most important jobs, but hey, sometimes you don't get what you want. And now that I have unlocked tier 2, you can see the upgrades I can do. Generator power upgrade, generator range upgrade, resources. You can get resource depot upgrades. You can move into charcoal kiln, which takes wood and turns it into coal for you. A sawmill upgrade will be more efficient for getting wood. All of these options open up to you. You just got to figure out what you want to do. You can do a medical post upgrade to keep people from getting sick and keeping them happy. You can do a hothouse, which requires steam cores, which you find through scouting, which builds you more food through crops. A lot of options. Check it all out, read what you want, figure out a streamlined plan. Okay, I think I showed you the basics of this game. I'm gonna get sucked into a full playthrough if I sit here and keep playing, so go play the game, check it out, it's wonderful. I think I have a couple of old VODs available here on YouTube if you just wanna watch somebody play it all the way through. I've done all the DLC, I recommend it all. This game is awesome. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your time in it. See you next time.